first contact, the crystalline spires of Nexoria's royal palace glittered under the light of 3 moons as Liam Varen's transport vessel settled onto the landing platform. After 6 months traversing the stars as an ambassador for the Human Exploration Initiative, he had finally arrived on the most mysterious planet in the Andromeda sector. Remember, Commander Varen, his superior, had warned before departure, Nexorians value strength above all else. Their society respects only those who can match their physical prowess. Liam adjusted his diplomatic uniform, a shimmering blue fabric that caught the iridescent light. At 34, he was considered the ideal representative, experienced enough to be diplomatic, young enough to endure the rumored physical demands of Nexorian culture. A delegation of tall, slender figures approached. Their skin held a luminous purple hue that seemed to pulse with inner light. Leading them was a female Nexorian whose bearing commanded immediate respect. Her eyes, deep violet with flecks of silver, assessed him with undisguised skepticism. Queen Alara Nyx welcomes the human emissary, announced an interpreter, gesturing to the regal figure. Her Majesty extends hospitality according to the Galactic Accord. Liam bowed deeply. I bring greetings from Earth and gratitude for your welcome, Your Majesty. Queen Alara circled him, her movements fluid like water. Her voice, when she spoke directly to him, had a melodic quality that translator implants couldn't fully capture. I expected someone more substantial, she said, her gaze traveling from his face to his hands. The tales we've heard of human endurance seem greatly exaggerated. Interpreter shifted uncomfortably but translated faithfully. Liam maintained his diplomatic smile. Perhaps I might have the opportunity to demonstrate that appearances can be deceptive, Your Majesty. A hint of amusement crossed Elara's face. Indeed, the resonance ceremony begins at moonrise. Traditionally, visiting dignitaries participate to establish ... compatibility. As the entourage guided him to his quarters, a Nexorian aide named Thalo provided briefing details in hushed tones. The resonance ceremony tests energy alignment between beings, he explained. Nexorians channel bioluminescent energy through touch. Few off-worlders last beyond the initial exchange. What happens if I fail? Liam asked. Thalo's expression darkened. You return home? The Alliance talks end. In his chamber, Liam prepared by studying Nexorian cultural files. Their civilization evolved from beings who once communicated primarily through bioelectrical impulses. Touch remained sacred, reserved for ceremonies and intimate connections. As twilight fell, attendants arrived with ceremonial attire, a simple garment of silver fabric that draped across one shoulder. The grand hall pulsed with soft light emanating from the Nexorians themselves. Queen Alara awaited on a raised platform, her royal attire shimmering with embedded crystals that amplified her natural radiance. Approach human, she commanded. Liam climbed the steps, aware of hundreds of curious eyes following his movements. You will likely experience discomfort, she warned, extending her hands. Few outsiders endure even momentary resonance with our kind. Liam met her gaze steadily. I look forward to surprising you, Your Majesty. As their hands met, a jolt of energy coursed through his body, the first test in what would become an unexpected journey of discovery between two vastly different beings. Trial of resilience. The moment their hands connected, Liam felt a surge of energy unlike anything he'd experienced before. A current of vibrant sensation flowed from Queen Alara's fingertips into his palms. Traveling through his arms and spreading throughout his body, the chamber's crystalline walls amplified the resonance, creating waves of light that pulsed in rhythm with their shared energy. Gasps echoed through the hall as the Nexorian court witnessed something unprecedented. A human not only withstanding the initial contact but maintaining composure through the escalating connection. Interesting, Alara murmured, her violet eyes widening slightly. You resist collapse. What the Nexorians didn't know was that humans possessed unique, neurological pathways that allowed them to adapt to various energy frequencies. Liam had prepared extensively, but even he was surprised by the intensity of the sensation. The first wave is merely preparatory, Alara explained, her voice taking on a musical quality as the resonance deepened. Few outsiders progressed beyond this point. The light between them intensified, shifting from soft white to vibrant purple. Liam's breathing quickened as the energy probed deeper, searching for weaknesses, testing his endurance. Sweat beaded on his forehead, but he maintained the connection, meeting her gaze with determined intensity. "Second resonance begins," announced a ceremonial attendant. Ilara stepped closer, placing her free hand on Liam's chest. The new point of contact doubled the energy flow, creating a circuit that made every nerve ending in his body sing with awareness. Her proximity brought another dimension to their exchange, a subtle, intoxicating scent, like night-blooming flowers in ozone. "Your heart rate increases, yet you remain standing," she observed with growing fascination. Perhaps the legends of human resilience merit investigation. Around them, the court murmured in astonishment. Phalo, watching from the sidelines, wore an expression of concern mixed with reluctant admiration. As minutes stretched into an hour, Liam and Ilara remained locked in their energy exchange. What began as a test of endurance evolved into something more nuanced, a communion of sorts. Liam found he could reciprocate, pushing back with his own life energy in a way that created harmonics within the resonance. Ilara's expression shifted from clinical observation to genuine surprise when she felt his response. No non-Nexorian had ever managed to return energy in such a manner. "You adapt quickly," she said, her voice lower now, meant for his ears alone. "How do you channel the flow?" "I don't resist it," Liam replied, his voice steady despite the effort. "I accept it and direct it, like water finding its course." Something flickered in her eyes. Respect, perhaps, or curiosity. The final phase of the ceremony approached, the one that traditionally separated the worthy from the incapable. "Final resonance," Ilara announced, loud enough for the court to hear. Then, more quietly, "This will test your limits, human." She placed her forehead against his, creating a third connection point. The energy surged to nearly unbearable intensity, blurring the boundaries between their separate consciousnesses. Liam glimpsed fragments of her thoughts, the weight of leadership, curiosity about the universe beyond their world, and a profound loneliness that resonated with his own. When the ceremony finally concluded, Liam remained standing, exhausted but triumphant. As attendants guided him back to his quarters, he caught Ilara's gaze across the room. Behind her regal mask, he saw something new awakening, an interest that extended beyond diplomatic necessity. The trial had ended, but something far more complex had just begun. Forbidden connection. 3 days after the resonance ceremony, Liam received a private summons to the Queen's personal observatory. The circular chamber perched atop the highest spire of the palace offered a panoramic view of Nexoria's 3 moons and the star-strewn cosmos beyond. Queen Ilara stood silhouetted against the stellar backdrop, her purple skin luminous in the starlight. She had dispensed with her formal regalia, wearing instead a simple flowing garment that caught the ambient light. "You've caused quite a stir among my advisors," she said without turning. "Some believe your performance at the ceremony was an anomaly. Others suggest more. Thorough examination of human capabilities." Liam approached carefully, maintaining proper distance. "And what does your majesty believe?" She turned, studying him with those penetrating violet eyes. "I believe there is more to learn about your kind than our records indicate." A servant brought refreshments, then quickly departed, leaving them alone. The observatory's privacy shields hummed softly, ensuring their conversation remained confidential. "During our resonance, I sensed something unexpected," Ilara continued, moving closer. "A complexity of emotion that our scientists claimed humans couldn't possess." "Perhaps your scientists have limited experience with humans," Liam suggested. "Indeed." Her fingers brushed his hand, sending a small jolt of energy between them. "I've authorized a private research initiative, a series of extended resonance sessions to document human response patterns." Liam recognized the diplomatic pretense for what it was. "And these sessions would be conducted under your personal supervision?" A hint of a smile played at her lips. "Naturally. Scientific accuracy demands it." Their first private resonance began that night, free from the ceremonial constraints and watchful eyes of the court. In the observatory's intimate setting, their energy exchange evolved into something more profound and reciprocal. Ilara guided his hands to specific points on her arms, teaching him how Nexorian energy pathways functioned. When their fingers intertwined, The resonance created spirals of light that danced around them like luminous ribbons. "Your energy has a different texture," she murmured, her face inches from his. "Warmer, more chaotic, yet somehow harmonious." As days passed, their research intensified. What began as curiosity transformed into desire. During one evening session, as 3 moons aligned in a rare celestial event, their resonance deepened beyond physical boundaries. Elar's fingers traced the contours of his face. "Your species experiences intimacy differently than mine. Perhaps you could show me the Nexorian way," Liam suggested, his voice low and rough. Their bodies moved together in the starlight, creating patterns of energy that illuminated the chamber. The resonance between them built to unprecedented levels, their separate energies merging and flowing like twin currents in the same stream. When their lips finally met, the resulting surge of energy briefly dimmed the observatory systems. Afterwards, as they lay entwined, Ilara traced patterns on his chest. Our historians record no precedent for this level of cross-species compatibility. "Is that concern I hear in your voice?" Liam asked. Before she could answer, the observatory door slid open. Thalo entered, then froze at the sight before him. His expression shifted from shock to dismay. "Your Majesty," he said, bowing stiffly, "the High Council requests your immediate presence. There are concerns about the human emissary's prolonged private audiences." As Thalo departed, Ilara rose and began dressing. "There are ancient laws governing Nexorian royal lineage," she explained, her voice tight with tension. "Unions with known Nexorians are explicitly forbidden." Liam understood the implications immediately. What had begun as diplomatic curiosity had evolved into something that threatened the very foundations of Nexorian society, and potentially the alliance between their worlds. "What happens now?" he asked. Ilara's expression hardened into queenly resolve. "Now, we decide whether to observe tradition or create new precedent." Whispers of rebellion, the High Council chamber buzzed with tension as Queen Ilara entered, her regal bearing masking the turmoil within. 7 elder Nexorians, their skin deepened to indigo with age, sat in a semicircle on crystalline thrones. Talos stood to one side, his expression carefully neutral, though his earlier disapproval had been unmistakable. "Your Majesty," began Counselor Vex, the eldest among them. "Disturbing reports have reached us regarding your interactions with the human ambassador." Lara took her seat at the head of the council. "My research into human physiological responses is well within my authority as sovereign." "Research?" echoed Counselor Zira, the word dripping with skepticism. "Is that what you call it when royal energy is shared so intimately with an off-worlder?" The accusations continued, growing more direct. Ancient laws were cited, prophecies of genetic corruption invoked. Through it all, Ilara maintained her composure, though the light emanating from her skin pulsed with suppressed emotion. "The laws you reference were established when Nexorians believed themselves alone in the cosmos," she finally countered. "We now know of thousands of sentient species. Should our traditions not evolve with our knowledge?" "Tradition is what preserves us," Vex insisted. "The human must leave immediately. Any alliance can be negotiated through conventional diplomatic channels." Meanwhile, Liam found himself effectively confined to his quarters, guarded by stone-faced Nexorian sentries. When the door finally opened, he expected royal guards with orders for his departure. Instead, a young Nexorian female entered Mira, one of Ilara's handmaidens. "The Queen sends a message," she whispered, pressing a small crystal into his palm. "And this." When Mira departed, Liam activated the crystal. Ilara's image appeared, her voice low and urgent. "The Council demands your removal from Nexoria. They fear what our connection represents, a challenge to centuries of isolation and genetic purity. But there are others who see hope in our bond." The message continued, revealing a startling truth, a growing movement among younger Nexorians who sought greater connection with the galactic community. What had begun as a diplomatic mission and evolved into an intimate bond now stood at the precipice of cultural revolution. That night, as Nexoria's smallest moon cast weak light through his window, the door to Liam's chamber opened again. This time, it was Ilara herself, accompanied by Thalo, whose presence surprised Liam most of all. "I've reconsidered my position," Thallo explained, noting Liam's confusion. "The Queen has shown me memories of your resonance. What you share could heal rifts in our society that have existed for generations." Ilara stepped forward, taking Liam's hands. The familiar energy flowed between them, comforting after days of separation. "The Council has scheduled your departure for tomorrow's dawn," she said. "But tonight, we have a choice to make." They moved through secret passages beneath the palace, emerging in an ancient chamber where a small group of Nexorians waited. Some were young courtiers Liam recognized, others were scholars and scientists curious about the wider universe. "We stand at a crossroads," Ilara addressed the gathering. "For too long, Nexoria has turned inward, fearing contamination from beyond our atmosphere. Yet the universe continues to expand around us." She drew Liam forward, their joined hands creating visible waves of harmonized energy. "What exists between us was thought impossible," she continued. "It challenges not just our laws, but our understanding of ourselves. If a human and a Nexorian can achieve resonance, what other possibilities have we denied?" As dawn approached, a plan took shape, not for Liam's departure, but for a new kind of alliance. Not merely between worlds, but between hearts that had found unexpected harmony across the stars. Harmony of worlds, the three moons of Nexoria, aligned in a rare celestial configuration, bathing the resonance temple in silver-blue light. Inside, an unprecedented gathering had assembled: the High Council, Royal Court, and representatives from Earth's diplomatic corps, who had arrived after receiving Liam's encoded transmission. At the center of the temple stood an ancient artifact, the Prism of Ancestors, traditionally used only for royal succession ceremonies. Tonight it would serve a different purpose. Queen Ilara entered, her ceremonial attire flowing around her like liquid starlight. The crown of Nexoria adorned her head, its crystals amplifying her natural luminescence. Liam followed, dressed in a hybrid garment that combined human diplomatic symbols with Nexorian resonance conductors woven into the fabric. What we witness tonight has no precedent. Ilara addressed the assembly, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. For millennia, Nexoria has preserved its purity through isolation. Today, we choose a different path. Murmurs rippled through the crowd as Ilara removed her crown and placed it on a crystalline pedestal. "I stand before you not just as your Queen, but as an Nexorian who has experienced something our ancestors believed impossible, true resonance with a being from beyond our world." The High Council shifted uncomfortably. But after weeks of negotiations and demonstrations of the harmonized energy Liam and Ilara could produce together, even the most conservative members had reluctantly acknowledged the potential benefits of their connection. The ancient texts speak of Vishara, the joining of disparate energies to create something greater than either alone. Ilara continued. "Our ancestors interpreted this as joining royal bloodlines. Perhaps its true meaning is broader." Liam stepped forward. "On Earth, we have a concept called synergy. When combined elements produce results beyond what either could achieve independently. What Queen Ilara and I have discovered transcends biological differences. It offers possibilities for both our worlds." Together they approached the Prism of Ancestors. As tradition dictated, they placed their hands on opposite facets of the crystal. What happened next astonished even those who had witnessed their previous resonance. Energy flowed from both beings into the prism, which began to rotate slowly, then faster. The harmonized light refracted through its facets, projecting a stellar map onto the temple dome, revealing previously uncharted pathways between star systems. Navigational routes that could revolutionize interstellar travel. The resonance between human neural pathways and Nexorian energy fields creates a unique perceptual ability, explained the chief scientist who had studied their connection. Together, they can visualize cosmic patterns invisible to either species alone. As the demonstration concluded, Ilara addressed her people once more. "Today marks the beginning of a new era. I will continue to rule Nexoria according to our laws, but with one significant change. The prohibition against cross-species connection is hereby dissolved. She turned to Liam, taking his hand openly before the assembly. Ambassador Varen will remain on Nexoria as Earth's permanent representative and my personal consort. Announcement triggered a cascade of light throughout the temple as younger Nexorians expressed their approval through resonance pulses. Even some of the elders, witnessing the potential benefits of this unprecedented union, contributed their own subtle acknowledgement. Later, in the privacy of the royal chambers, Liam and Alara embraced, their energies mingling in now familiar patterns that nonetheless continued to evolve and deepen. "Do you think it will work?" Liam asked, tracing the luminous patterns on her purple skin. A lasting connection between worlds so different? Alara's eyes, violet and infinite as the cosmos itself, met his. "We are proof that difference need not mean distance. What we found together, this harmony of worlds, it exists in the space between stars, in the resonance of unlike things, finding common rhythm." Nexoria's 3 moons cast their light through the chamber windows. 2 beings from distant worlds demonstrated once again that the universe's greatest wonders often emerge from its most unexpected connections.